When I was first considering getting a Digitakt, someone asked me what other gear I already owned. At the time, I was only considering it as a standalone groovebox, but now I know what I've been missing out on. The Digitakt plays extremely well with other devices. In this video, we will be routing audio from the Reface CP through the Digitakt and connecting the two devices via MIDI. There are three things that we need to set up to make this work: the audio routing, the general Digitakt MIDI setup, and finally the per track MIDI setup. The audio routing is set up in the third page of the master tab. By default, the audio inputs levels are set to 0. We'll put them up to around 80. On the same page, you can also set the amount of audio signal that is routed to the sound effects. The Reface has its own delay, but let's add a lot of delay here anyway because delay is fun, and we'll put that to about 70. And if that all worked properly, this is what it will sound like. You can also hear a kick drum there, and the reason for that is because the MIDI configuration has not been done yet. The MIDI implementation on the Reface is pretty basic, and it can only send and receive MIDI on channel 1, and that's where the kick drum was coming from. Fortunately, the Digitakt is flexible enough that this is not a problem. Press the gear wheel to enter the general settings and scroll down to MIDI config and then channels. By default, the sample tracks are set to channels 1 through 8 and the MIDI tracks are all set to off. You can set an auto channel where MIDI coming in on that channel is routed to the active track. This is what we want. We'll set it to 1, which is the only MIDI channel supported by the Reface CP. And there it is. Now the Reface CP is monotimbral, i.e. it can only play one sound at a time, but it does have 256 notes of polyphony. That gives us plenty of spare notes for a bass line, a melody, and some chords, for example. Each Digitakt MIDI track only has 4 notes of polyphony, but we have 8 tracks to play with, so that is quite a few notes. For each track that we set up, we need to set the output MIDI channel on, which you can do with funk and pressing the A knob. And you can see the number 9 flashing. We're going to add a 4 on the floor on the kick drum, and then we'll just jam around a bit on the MIDI tracks and see what that sounds like. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.